And I see that Joyce is here, Miss Joyce Ingram. She's also in the book. You see her on this stage often. We love her because she talks about something that we all really like, and that's money. She talks about women and money. That's good. And man, I was thrilled when I heard Katie talking about how her mother turned down, this one offer, which wow, and then got the offer. And I think Amanda May talked about that as well as like the author of that book. And I think you were nodding your head. Are you reading the book worthy, or should we all be getting the
I'm
book
not,
worthy?
but I can certainly relate to Katie. Oh my gosh, her story is just like choked me up as well. So I'm like, okay, hold it together while I get through this segment.
Absolutely. So if you do not know Joyce, she is a heart-centered financial advisor. She is an international best-selling author, and she is an inspirational speaker on making memories with money. Ooh, I love that. Making memories with money. So guess what? She's going to talk about moments with money and legacy. The thing you may not know about her is how she likes to chill herself out. I'll tell you, Yankan Crystal Lowe would be happy to hear this because our speaker last month just released her movie. Again, another one that she's directed on the Hallmark channel called Shifting Gears. And you love on Friday nights to call them your self-care nights, and you snuggle up and watch some cool Hallmark movies. So she's a Hallmark fan, which you may not know about her. And okay, this is why we talk often, because her music of choice is Rumors, Fleetwood Mac, very cool. And she has a couple of amazing gifts that she's going to be giving away today. So one to everybody is a financial checklist and legacy memory e-booklet, which she sent to me and I saw, and I'm like, I want the hard copy of that. It's beautiful. Also, for one person, you are going to get a Legacy Moments package journal. Ooh, I love it. She's going to be giving away one of our journals. Which one is it going to be? We've already done Mission Accepted. Yes, this one's good. Priorities. Priorities. You're going to be getting a 262. Or you know what? After you're with her and you feel grateful, you might want to do the Grateful Journal. But she's gifting away a journal, a gorgeous piece of jewelry, and a book. And so thank you. Welcome to the stage, my friend.
Thank you, Deb. Wow, what an amazing morning, day. It's been like, holy smokes. It's just like, wow, let's just continue this theme. Like everybody's showing up with their true essence. It's unbelievable. Powerful women here. Glad to be part of it.
It's good. It's good. So thank you. And thank everybody for showing. And that's including our streaming. I would love for you to see the feedback from our streams. But my friend, so we talk about money. We talk about legacy. Not too often it's talked about together. Sometimes people say, wealth. But what is it? What is really, how do you create legacy money? What is legacy money? And why are we not willing to talk about that?
Yes, a huge topic is coming up more and more. And, legacy, as we know, is something that's passed on, and it could be in other ways other than financial, right? And it could be about your personal core values, character, your wealth and wisdom that you like to share with your family. What I want to do is talk about living legacy and how to create these memories for yourself now, and then how you can dream up your dream lifestyle that you want to have, but also have the money available to sustain you throughout life and then pass it on to generationally as well. And but also in the most efficient way. A quote that I want to share with you is from Warren Buffett: is the most important investment is investing in yourself. So that's how I want to start, is this, because again, the theme this morning is, what is it you want? We need to ask yourselves, what is it that we want? And from there, plan for it, whatever it may be. If you want to retire early, or in your early 20s, you want to maybe take a gap year and go traveling, take a year off, or even just to change careers. So how do we make that happen? Right? So this is how I work with my clients, is identifying it exactly what it is, and then finding a way to create that blueprint for them so that they can make that happen. And, we just want to put together something for you in the most tax efficient way by paying yourself first, because you are your biggest investment. So there's so many different ways to take it, but, we can like I'm making another list of what to do and how to create money. One is like, to invest in yourself, either through investments or insurance products that have cash value. But it could be also like selling your stuff. Like we have so much stuff in our house. It could be that, or it could be something like renting out your room for an Airbnb, a student, or even just your parking spot. It could be simple as that, just to generate more income and for you to help you with paying yourself first as well. So there are many different ways to manifest and have your reticular activating system work for you.
I love that you say that. And you know what? Sometimes it takes someone else from the outside. Like sometimes it takes someone else from the outside, because a lot of times people will be like, oh my gosh, they'll be like, I can't, or if I could, or I'd love to afford to. And then it takes someone like yourself to go, well, let's have that conversation. And people
Mhm.
are like, well, what do you mean? Well, let's have that conversation. And it's like, maybe there's money to be found, but you don't know where it is, like in your parking spot, right? So you're talking to someone that rents out their parking spot. So right now they're downtown,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
right, and that money per month adds up to this. Like, just sometimes there's money to be found, and sometimes there's different ways to do things. And I think we've talked a lot of women today around, sometimes we just get caught up in doing what we're doing. We don't see other avenues, or we don't see other ways, or we don't see shortcuts. Like, I think shortcuts are amazing, particularly when it comes to money. So anyways, I just feel like there's many different things that sometimes that we can't do. And when we talk about money, a lot of times if we're talking generational or that kind of money, sometimes there's a little bit, I feel as a woman, and I'll just own it because I don't know if anyone else feels like this. It's like, I'm willing to sacrifice my fill it in, my health, my treating myself, my self-deservedness, for my family in the future. And I remember someone saying to me once, it's like, I'm pretty sure your kids are going to be okay. Pretty sure with what you've done with them so far, if you never did anything else, like, how much more do you need to sacrifice? Like, where does that line go? But I think I had it ingrained generationally that we need to sacrifice so that the next generation has a better life. Well, guess what? They already do. Guess what? They already do, right? Because we're a different generation living a different experience. So, can you talk to that again? Because I know that when we were having some pre-show conversation,
Mhm.
there was like a lot of times what you hear from people is like, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be dead anyway. Doesn't matter. I'm going to be dead anyway. And there's like this sacrifice, but we say it and people say it. It's really true. It's like, well, I don't know. I'm going to be dead anyways. I'm going to give it all to the kids, whatever it is. Can you talk about that? I think I've thrown two questions at you, but
Okay, well, let me start with okay, the one that I have here is you're going to be dead anyway. Well, I'm hoping that you're taking care of your family right now anyway.
yeah,
So hopefully that will continue, because if you don't, it leaves a huge impact and consequence for your family. And, I know that we're all going to pass at some point, but if you don't take care of it now, and then, before you pass, then there's always going to be other things, such as there's going to be loss of income to the household. So it may be difficult for your family to continue while they're grieving for you, for one thing. Again, when you don't take care of your estate, for instance, it could mean that your estate is held up for a year in order to figure out the finances, or in order for your family to continue. So it sounds like it's so nonchalant, but there's huge impact and consequences, because the other thing about having something prepared is that you get to choose what you want to do with your life at the end of your life, not having someone else to do it for you. So you get to have your wishes at the end of your life. And most importantly, I think, is to me personally, it's like being selfish if you just think that you're just gonna die and go away, whereas you're leaving all the family behind who are going to have to deal with everything while they're grieving for you.
right, right. So there's things, so it's about taking care of yourself, living the best life that you can here, not thinking that, putting it all to their or next generation. So living life, having a good life, being able to share, and then preparing,
Yeah,
and having
exactly.
choices and making the decisions and having the accessibility. I'm always like, a sustainable woman is a powerful woman. So being sustained financially now, so you can do and live some of the things that you want to do, and have that continue all the way through.
Exactly. And like I want to speak to that a bit more because like I said earlier, as we go through generationally, I'll use decades for instance, we all want different things in our different times of our life. So if you're able to prepare for that, and now that when I look back, I thought, gosh, I wish I started, well, it did, luckily my dad had started me younger, but now I want to go back and make up for a lot of it now. And now that's my purpose now, is to help and go and educate people because it's never too late, right? It's never too late. You can always plan for it. And having your I's dotted and your T's crossed, that will help you get you there. And again, it's not just that, but being able to create these memories now for yourself and your family, because you can pass on those tips and wisdom and teachings generationally, so that your legacy continues as well. So just not financially, but memories for the future.
Well, I think that's very different. I don't know, again, where everybody's at. I happened to have a mother who was in finance for a large company and drilled it into my head. And I didn't even know why at 25, you need to buy an RRSP. And I literally was so like tired of hearing it. I walked into a mall and there was some guy selling products, financial products. I go, do you sell these RRSP things? And he's like, yeah. And I said, can I buy one? He's like, yeah. I'm like, your lucky day. But I mean, I didn't even really know what I was buying and I didn't even really know what I was doing. I was 25. And that was like my financial advice. Like that was it. Like just go do this and somehow everything was going to be okay. I think when you say passing on teachings, let's dig a little bit into that because I think it's okay to talk about money now. I think
Mhm.
it's okay to talk about money with our kids now. I don't think it was always that way.
Well, firstly, I think having financial education is one of the most important things in life, but it's not taught. In fact, April is Financial Literacy Month, so that's the other thing, is trying to get out there and educate people on that. And like right now, like just looking at education wise, like half the people, just the recent survey was saying that a lot of women, especially, feel embarrassed or ashamed because they weren't taught, so they're not able to look after their family efficiently, and because they're just living day to day and they have other priorities. So it's just coming back again and educating the reasons why it's so important to live now or plan now and have an easier life later versus continue to work throughout your whole life and making it hard later, right? So I don't know, but my job here is just to help educate people and just to provide the ability to plan and to ensure that it still sustains longevity. But also, I don't know if this is a fact I just read and that sort of blew my mind, is that there's like $1.8 billion of unclaimed assets in Canada as of 2023. And in the US, it's $70 billion of unclaimed money. So I want to be able to ensure that you're taken care of, everything's taken care of so that you can pass that on.
So everyone just had a mic drop because I watched everyone's face fall off. I thought I mean I remember us talking about that. So I'm so glad that you brought that up. So we're talking about financial literacy. We're teaching ourselves at the same time as we teach our kids, and that's okay. Like that's okay. My first teaching to my children was sitting down and reading The Wealthy Barber together, right? Together. Um, and then you just drop this thing about there's all this unused money, unfound money. So people are going, where is it? And what do you
Yeah.
mean? So, right? Carmel's like, yeah, where's that money? I bring on the money. But when you say that it's unfound, what does that mean?
It just means that people haven't prepared and listed as a beneficiary, or they've forgotten where things are. And this is part of my reason why, and today my offering to you is, I was thinking about that and I thought, most people, even myself included, have things everywhere. They have their, something in the filing drawer, something in the freezer, something in the under the mattress. So people file things in different places and they tend to forget. So my financial checklist that I've had when I was going through this, and I thought, oh my gosh, I could use this myself. And if I can use it, I'm sure other people can. So what I've done is provided a financial checklist that has everything available that will trigger for you to remember, like all your bank accounts, where are they? All your RSPs, RESPs, because if you started like your journey at, whatever age you were with your mom, do you remember where that RSP was? Or, you know, is it with a bank, or do you remember what the account number is? So this is just a way for you to remember to write these things down, keep track of everything. So then that way, when things happen, everything's all in one spot and your family can, take care of everything from there.
Yeah. Wow. I think that's really powerful. And I think it's powerful when you talk about all this unused money because, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money that's just lost in the abyss somewhere. Someone worked for that money. Someone worked hard for that money. They probably stretched themselves for that money. They thought in their mind it was going to be left somewhere. Checking your beneficiaries. I mean, that's a big one. Updating, you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
is it still active? And do you know? And sometimes companies change addresses and they can't find you. And there's all sorts
Exactly.
of things. I'm going to say, honestly, this is before I met Joyce, and I'm happy to be doing some business with Joyce right now. But the in the very beginning, I remember someone having this conversation with me when I was younger, and it didn't land as well. I didn't know people that had passed over. I didn't know people that struggled. I didn't know people about fighting for money and whatever. Some people are talking to you in your 20s and 30s. It's a whole different conversation when you're having different conversations as we go through what you call the decades. And it's quite an interesting, it's quite interesting the amount of money and like just it's inaccessible. Like people can't find it, or there was no beneficiary, or you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh,
Or second beneficiary, or where the person you left it to is no longer alive, and they're like, well, who are we going to give this money to?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should be reviewed annually,
Yeah.
maybe every 6 months, because as we get older, things change too, but at least annually at a minimum, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like you're talking about, like, even for myself, I remember starting at RSP at 19, and I swear it's still out there. So I could be one of those ones with the unclaimed money. I don't know, because I don't
Yeah.
remember. But yeah, so it's all these things that we need to be aware of,
Hmm.
and we take life for granted. We're going to live forever and we're going to always remember. And I know for myself personally, as I get older, I don't remember everything anymore. So I have to write things down.
Well, something that just came to me, it's funny, like we go get our teeth cleaned every 6 months, but we don't do an annual financial clean, right? And I think it's important to be to have someone with it. And I also think that a lot of times, and I'll end with this because I know we're probably coming to time, but a lot of times people think they need money before they can talk to someone, and there's some sense of embarrassment or something. That's a big one for women. Talk about it in the kitchen, and women will talk about they think everybody has more money than them. They think everybody's more planned than them. They may know, but they feel like they still can't go to someone they don't know and share the insides of their financial world. Can you
Mhm.
talk to that a little bit just to empower us before because we all want to be legacy makers. We want to be living the life of our dreams now and leave wealth. Like, why can't we have both? Joyce, can we have both?
Of course, you can have
Okay,
everything
good.
you want.
You just gave us all permission, right? Sometimes it's
Yes.
permission.
Again, it's asking what it is you want. And, I think, like you said, people have been embarrassed in the past to talk about it, but just have it bring up in conversations, because we're always talking about what people's dreams are, what their goals are every year, right? So make it that a habit, having dinner conversations or out for friends with coffee, having coffee with friends is just bringing up in conversation is, you know, do have you prepared for your retirement, or what have you thought about, writing that book or changing that career? Have you thought about more about that? Like, what's your next step to getting there? So just being comfortable with these conversations to bring up money. And you don't have to share all the details with it, but it's just great to get it out in the open, I think, because when people stress about money, it's just sort of something that people feel shameful about, and you don't have to be. Like we talked about that earlier, is just, don't need to be embarrassed or ashamed of anything. It's just what something you're going through. It's maybe a hiccup right now that you might be going through. It doesn't have to be forever, right? But do speak to somebody about it, somebody who you're comfortable with, and just ask questions, because again, like everything else, you need to connect with person, because it's all about trust. And that's one way of building trust for someone to help you along the way.
Absolutely. Here, 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 here. All right. Well, thank you so much. Can we do some